For the most part, we did fairly well with the first section. Some of us got confused with some of the words. This was also my mistake. So here, polynomials is also the general term for all of these. So all of these fall under the branch of, or the umbrella of, polynomials. So some of you were confused because this is a trinomial, but that's also a polynomial as well. It's weird. But there were only two that were in standard form, this one and this one. So if you got those two and didn't choose any others, you got all 4 points. If you missed some of those, that's where it started subtracting points. Then you had to fix these two. The first one was 8x to the 4th minus 5x squared, y squared, minus 7xy, plus 3y to the 4th. Remember that ABC order trumps highest exponent, so it has to be all of your x's first, then xy's, then y's, even though this has a higher exponent. And then this other one was 2c to the 3rd, 3c squared, 5c to the 4th. Questions about that one? Sophia? Say that one more time. So, let's think about this. In middle school, I believe, you talk about like shapes. Think about shapes as like the general term for all shapes, and then you specify specific ones, squares, rectangles, triangles, things like that. They have specific name, but they're all shapes. All of these are all polynomials, but then there are specific names for each. Does that make sense? Got it. Yeah. All right. For these, you have to do one word from this and one word from this. So this was a cubic binomial. Cubic because it has a power of 3. Binomial because there's 2 terms. This one was a quadratic trinomial. Quadratic because the exponent is 2. Trinomial because there are 3 terms. Quadratic again, but then binomial. Highest exponent is 2, only 2 terms. And then this one is a linear because we only have an exponent of 1. And again, a binomial. Constant is when there are no variables at all. Questions on that one? For the most part, we did well. There were some issues, but overall well. So a lot of you multiplied the 12 and 1/4, the 16 and 1/4 to get 3 and 4, and then did the same thing here. But here is where I saw an issue. When you multiply 5 to this, you're not distributing. There's not a plus or a minus in between it. So you're just multiplying 5 to this. Some of you were putting 5x to the 3rd, 5y to the 4th, and we should not have been doing that. Alright, and then combine your let terms. There's really a 1 here, so add the 1 and the 5 to get 6. Questions on that one? With 4, you needed to multiply your numerator, so actually multiply the numbers, add your exponents, so getting that first part was 1 point. Then simplifying each of the pieces was worth another. So you should have divided the numbers 12 over 18 to get 2/3. subtract your exponents. 6 minus 9 will give you a negative 3. So some of you wrote this out first, which was fine. And then 5 minus 2 would be 3. And then the x would get moved to the denominator. So 2y to the third all over 3x to the third. Yes.
So whenever you have, since the variables are on both sides, when I'm subtracting them or adding them, or well, subtracting them because you divide them, the positive immediately go on top.
I would say if you're rewriting, make it a habit to just rewrite everything in the top with the negative, with the positive, and then if it's negative, flip it. Because what I saw was some of you were putting the negative, but putting it down here to then flip it back up. And that's where another issue I saw. All right, other questions on that one? So for the most part, this one was done fine. There were just some issues with this part. And then a lot of us got this, simplified this. There was just some mix-up with the exponents. On to the back. For the most part, everyone did fine on 5, not so much on 6. Here, whether you distributed the negative, moved it, and subtracted, or just looked at it like it is, either way, we're doing 4x squared minus 2x squared, negative 2x minus x, so that would really be a plus, and 6 minus 8. So that should have been your final answer. So if you got that, each piece was worth 1 point. Questions on that one? The last one, a lot of you did the box method and used this, which is fine. So 3x minus 4y minus 6x plus 5y. Some of you only multiplied 2 of them together, like the x's together and the y's together, but everything needs to be multiplied. So this would be negative 18x squared. Also remember that, because some of you forgot the squared part. Think about, you have 2 like bases that you're multiplying, so you have to add the exponents. This would be a positive 24xy, because one has x, one has y. A positive 15xy, or yx, doesn't matter. And then a negative 20y squared. Then you had to combine your like terms. So ABC order, x comes first, then our xy's, then our y squared. Do we have any questions on that one? Do we have any last minute review questions that we want to go over before you guys take your tests? So from the review, you can get out any review questions you have. Let me pull that up first. Yes.
I'm going to start. Is a quadratic 2.
2. Quadratic is 2.
And a quartic is 4.
Quartic is 4. Yeah.
Is this for a second quarter grade?
Second quarter grade, yeah. So this will be the biggest thing that changes what you have now to what it could be after the test goes in, because everything has just been formative up till now. Data.
Is this for first or second quarter?
Second. Sheila? 9, 8 on this page. This 9 is 8. Okay. So for 8, remember that you have choices. Either flip this up and then work with that, or take the exponent and apply it. So this would be x to the negative 2, y to the negative 2. If you're flipping it up, you wouldn't do this. So pick whichever one you want. And then you're subtracting x to the 5th minus negative 2, y to the 3rd minus negative 2, and then z to the 9th to the 6th. So x to the 7th, y to the 5th, z to the 9th. Would be our final answer for that one. Questions on that? Six is similar to the one you guys saw on your quiz. Multiply your numerator. So we have 18. Add your exponents. X to the 8th, y to the 8th. Actually divide the numbers. Simplify it. See if it can be simplified. We can divide both of these by 6. Subtract your exponents. 8 minus 15 would give us negative 7. 8 minus 2 would give us 6. The x would get moved down. Other review questions that we want to go over, Jaden? Number 11. Anyone still writing this? On the next page. So I'm just going to do this using this method. You could do this method if you want. Multiply this by 2, multiply this by 2, add them together. So this would be 4x squared minus 5x, minus 10x plus 2, and 2x squared plus 4x plus 6. And then combine your like terms. So 4 plus 2 would give us 6. Negative 10 plus 4 would give us negative 6. And 2 plus 6 would give us 8.
On the next page.
Yeah. I think we did 10 before. Did we do 10 before?
Yeah.
Did the exact same. Virginia. 4. The area problem. Yeah. So whether you do box method, distributing, FOIL, rewriting, however you do that, it's all the same because you're multiplying these together. If you like the box method, go with that. If you want to just distribute, go with that. You choose right now. So you would be multiplying 2x and x to get 2x squared, 2x and 1 to get 2x, x and negative 5 to get negative 5x, and 1 and negative 5 to get negative 5. And then combine your like terms. 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. As you're doing this, if you don't have something that's squared, a constant, and then a variable by itself, something's off. Or if you have x and y, then it'd be a little different. Other questions? Which one? Regina. Other than the ones on this. I think we did one of them, or did we do both? Oh, you're talking about that last page? Disregard that page. John?
I have a question about number this page. What is it changed to a minus?
This minus was already there.
The ACB.
It wasn't. This was multiplication, yes, but this was already minus. Other questions? Either. 14. See if you have stuff inside that you can do, like the 4 and the 6, we can simplify. We have x's, we have y's that we can combine. So this would be 2/3, subtract your exponents, x to the third, y to the first, and then raise your exponent to everything.
Why do we divide first or subtract first? Because the PEMDAS order, aren't we supposed to do like grouping first?
Grouping, parentheses. So what's inside
so
the-
what's inside the parentheses, and then we do it.
Correct. So this would be 2 squared, x to the 6, y squared, all over 3 squared. So 4 x to the 6, y squared, all over 9. Otis.
And then once again, the positives go where the numerator is.
Yes. Yeah. Other questions? Regina. On the same page. So this is similar to the other one we just did, where you can either flip this up or deal with this negative exponent first. So a to the 12th, b to the negative 3, all over a to the negative 4, b to the negative 4. Subtract your exponents. We have a to the 12th minus negative 4, and b to the negative 3 minus negative 4.
So it's going to be A16 and B1. Or negative 1.
1
No, just 1. Okay.
or a16 b. Either or. Jaden.
Can we just change like the sign to like a plus sign?
Sure. If you are subtracting a negative. So if you want to instead just write plus, you can do that. Just don't confuse that with you are subtracting. The only reason we changed it to a plus is because there was a negative and we were subtracting. Other questions, Jasmine? If your phone is not put away, make sure you go do that. If you did not grab your calculator, make sure you go grab it. What? I love that you call them that, but